Hey, and welcome to my video journal today. Um, Not quite sure what my topic's going to be, so I'm just going to really speak what's going on with me at the moment. I'm going through the emotions today. It's not as intense in the anxiety and the anger, which is really, really great. And I think sitting with those feelings is really, really key. This morning, I was in a place of absolute, really feeling joyful, which is great and powerful, and who I really am. Really excited about an event I got next week. I was scared financially to commit, but not only did I get a ticket, I committed to the highest level ticket you could get. So I actually get integration with an expert on relationships. Which obviously the pain point I really want to work on, and also blocks financially in terms of that capacity, that ceiling I'm limiting myself at the moment to of making or looking after money, even though I'm not broke or anything. I'm far from that. I'm doing really, really well. But yeah, like I just had a real bit of grief or sadness. There were a lot of tears in private. I was at a work event and I got really awesome people. I worked with a great bunch of people, and we were in the venue, and it was a good day. And like you meet people you don't know, and my ability to be confident, introduce myself, start conversations, lead tasks, make suggestions, be a team leader. It's still, I'm really so proud of my ability to do those things, and I was really confident in that sense. I was having a conversation with a guy next to me, and he was a great guy. And he was like, you had to share a little bit about each other, and we had to talk about something we're happy about coming up. And I said I was going to this event, and I'm really excited. And he was genuinely very interested. And it doesn't matter if they're interested or not, it's just sharing. But it's cool when someone's interested. And I asked him a little bit about him, and he was telling me about his family, and yeah, it was awesome. So he won't share what he shared because that's private to him. But then he asked me, "Do you have any kids?" And I'm not gonna lie, that got me quite a bit. If I'm honest, I'm 34. I'm open to having kids either way. But then it made me feel very, very lonely because a lot of the time in the workplace, there's, people talking about their girlfriends, their wives, expecting, and there's me there who's got all these confident leadership skills. Like today, I've taken on more responsibilities. I get promoted. I do well in business. People come to me. I get so many podcast agencies come to me. People want to be on my show, be all these things. But behind the scenes, I'm absolutely heartbroken that I just don't have anyone. And that's why I'm really going to these events and really doing some deep diving work. But yeah, I just want to be very real. It is really, I don't know if someone else needs to hear this. It is really fucking hard when you work on yourself so much, you got all these qualities, and you always feel like you're meant to be alone. And no matter how hard you work and how great it seems it's going when you meet someone, it's just on the same similar or cycles kind of repeat themselves, but improvement each time. It just feels very lonely. And I know there's a block there, even though I've unblocked lots of different areas of my life. And I feel like I'm very alone in this situation I'm in. I know there are single people out there, there's lots of single people out there, but just as someone who's, selective, but also it just, I feel there's a sense of it just hasn't fallen for me and finding that long term loving relationship and coming out of a recent situation where I really felt it was going somewhere, but obviously it wasn't meant to be. or potential for it to go somewhere. And then thinking about where I am, it's just really, really upsetting. When you know you do or feel like you do 99 more work than 99% of guys out there, and it's not an ego thing, but it's just like, what do I have to do to find someone? And yeah, I know loneliness is a key thing for human beings. But also today I did sit with myself and my inner child, which is something I'm committed to doing consistently, and I've fallen off of it a bit. And when you sit with your inner child, that reduces that loneliness because it's usually an inner child inside. Yeah, that really got to me. And then the other thing that really got to me was at the end, it's like the bar's opened, and I felt a lot of grief around that because there was an old version of me that was dying there or grieving there, because the old me would have been like, yeah, let's get some pints and then start interacting with people, having more alcohol. But I know which road, I know the way that road goes. It goes to, I may or may not have got too drunk and maybe done something silly, but may or may not have done, but it's all about the knock-on effects over the day, the anxiety, the feeling down, feeling crap about myself. And I went to the bar and there's people ordering drinks around me, and I ordered my Coke and I didn't drink any alcohol. And that's a win. That's a massive, massive win. But there's a sadness in me that the old version of me was dying. And I'm going into this new life, but it's really scary. Getting me emotional. It feels like I'm going into a completely new life. Where alcohol for so many years has been that connection, that love that I've not had, and I really know it comes from myself, and I built that up a bit, but not enough. And I also use it as a gap, like a way to avoid being alone and not being with someone for many, many years. And when you take away alcohol as well, you're left to your feelings. And what I'm doing right now is 100% the right thing to do. To be in my feelings and feel into what is this loneliness? How much more self-love can I give myself? It's hard though, but it's like, it needs to be done. As I make these videos, I look forward to looking back on these and thinking, look at my journey, my transition. I'll continue to share my podcast, of course, on confidence, on things where I have built a lot of confidence, like my career, presenting, public speaking, getting all these great guests on. If I want to talk about relationships, I'll get a relationship coach onto the podcast to share. But just a couple of things really made me emotional today, that, again, people talking about their family, and which is beautiful. I'm so glad for them. I'm so glad people have got families and got someone. This is not a resentment thing. This is just sadness and maybe a gap in myself, but it comes back internally to me, and I know that. And that's why I'm so glad I've signed up for this event next weekend, and then I've got a retreat in September. And yeah, for me right now, there's a lot of internal stuff to work on, and it's always giving you guidance, and also just grieving the old me that would have gone and drunk away his pain, but doesn't do that anymore. It's tough. Feeling the emotions is the hard way, but the right way. So just want to share that with you today, as I go to the gym.